Welcome back, everyone. It's Jess. Thank you for being here. We are on week 2, day 3 of the Trauma and Loss series. And the last 2 days have been a lot about routines, establishing new rituals, kind of asking, why do we do the things we do? What happens when we no longer do the things we do or used to because so much has changed, and, finding ourselves in the midst of that. That helps us ground physically and helps us ground mentally when we're having a lot of brain fog and trauma and emotions and, just dysregulated thought patterns. We can't think in a linear fashion. Our memory is kind of messed up and things like that. These are normal responses to trauma. Being hyper vigilant. The brain is now hyper vigilant. It is looking for threats. It is trying to find anything that might trigger anything of pain or suffering or anything, right? Okay, so we've been talking about that a lot this week, the routines and how we can get stuck in a routine or how we can become obsessed with wanting that routine back. So today I want to talk about the soul part. So we've got body, mind, and soul. Today is the soul. And we're going to get more into why we get stuck in these routines or why they become so important to us. Number one, if you've gone through a trauma, you are going through a trauma. I'm sorry, because I know a lot has changed. Whether it's a physical thing, we've had a loss in our family, but I'm not physically injured by that. Our family hasn't been physically injured by that. But other people were physically injured, and there's been a lot of stuff to work through. So whether you're having a physical healing, mental, emotional, and spiritual, or something happened that was traumatic in an emotional way or mental way, either way, we have all had our routines totally thrown off. And when your routine is thrown off and you're feeling chaotic in your mind and you're feeling chaotic in your heart, and everywhere else, and the world is still rolling, due dates are still coming up for bills, work schedules still come up, kids' school, all these things are, the world around you, outside of you, is still moving forward at its typical pace, and you feel like you are walking through a marshland, and it's harder with every step because every day you wake up and there's a new challenge in addition to the trauma. There are things that come up, things that have to be handled and taken care of. And it totally changes our routine, and it changes what we are kind of, in a way, allowed to prioritize into what we must prioritize. So it can feel very entrapping as well. Now, no one wants to say that makes anything about the situation or the people involved good or bad. That's not what I mean. But the entrapment is coming from the situation, the circumstances of what's happening. So talking about routine for the last couple of days has really brought to my attention how much that is laying a foundation and a groundwork, and how many of you have been through something traumatic and would have given anything to just go back and it not have happened and the routine to be the same. Or the routine changed and you decided that you didn't want anything to be the same anymore, and you didn't want anything to go back to the way it was. Neither of those are wrong. They're both valid points. And so working through the soul's desires in this, understanding emotionally what we're going through, we do have to get to a place of saying, okay, if I know which routine I'm wanting, what's kind of evolving out of this situation? Is it what I want? Is it what I need? And is it serving me? Is any of it coming from a place of fear? Is any of it coming from a place of avoidance? Is it coming from a genuine place of wanting to adapt, accept, heal in the best way possible? It's always about intention. Everything we do is about our intentions. Two people can participate in the exact same activity, and one of them is good and one of them is not good. I mean, if you were to judge the situation, whatever it is. What makes everything in this world different is each of us as individuals making a choice about it with intention. I can be a super rich philanthropist and absolutely do some major good for a lot of people. Or I can be a super rich philanthropist and everything I'm philanthropizing is a form of manipulation towards my end goal. But technically the first one also has a manipulation towards an end goal. Even if it's prosperity, abundance, and what's better for all. So in this time of facing trauma and dealing with it and looking at your daily routine, I want you to really take judgment out of it. If you feel you need to do something because that's what you can do today, then I think that's great. I think if you feel you cannot do something or do not want to, do not abandon yourself. Do not ignore yourself and do not pretend like it's not going to matter later. Because every time you abandon yourself and every time you say yes when you mean no, you're piling it up. And it will eventually come out and it'll eventually be really painful. And my goal in this lesson and teaching in this series is that you would have such a good chance at really seeing more, understanding more, feeling more, grasping more, and in the end, knowing yourself better through the process, through the healing, and it not being hard lesson after hard lesson after hard lesson. As someone who's been there and done things in an incorrect way or a wrong way or not the best way, it's taught me the things that would have helped that situation go better. It taught me that I can't pretend that everything's okay when it's not. It taught me that I have a weakness with my emotions around people when a trauma has happened. Even if it's happened to me, I'm ready to jump in with them and help them heal as fast as possible, while absolutely totally neglecting myself. I had to come to grips with that. I absolutely threw my own self under the bus a lot. With people, it all ended up bad with overworking and overscheduling myself and trying so hard to fix things for them. And in the end, they just resented me or didn't appreciate any of it because it wasn't coming from themselves. And in a way, you're almost like forcing the help on people. That's why you're allowed to come on here and click on the video. And if you don't like it, you can leave. That's okay. I'm not forcing it on anybody. It's choice. And I think sometimes we think we're making the best choice for someone else because we do have a good heart and we do care, we do love them, but we're stopping them from getting the lesson. So, I try to be really careful when I do these videos and give you guys good advice and good help without saying, but you must do it this way. You don't have to do anything anyway. You don't have to take my advice. The best advice is to take your own. Because you, at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to believe what you believe. And no amount of other people telling you what you think you want to hear is going to make it true. You have to believe it. You have to know it's true and you have to accept it, When you're trying to rebuild your routine, when you are trying to get back into a place, what you've decided you want your normal to be. This is a great opportunity to play with the ideas of adding a meditation time or a meditative walk or starting a new cooking class. Like, try to make things completely different than you're used to making them. Talking to friends, getting more social, going out with other people, completely different people, completely other different people. Get some perspective from some other people that are outside of your normal friend, family circle. Even joining up with groups of people that do different things. Take a pottery class, start going to the library. Take yourself out of the routine you had in whatever shape and form it's left in. And now is a great time for you to try to do different things, and you don't have to stick to any one of them, but you get to play with them. You get to play. You get to have a little fun right now. You get to find joy where you can and experience life in a new way, no matter what trauma has happened. Any trauma. There are things and opportunities that right now would be so healing, but also just inspired. Sometimes when the trauma happens, and it's not good, but sometimes when the trauma happens, we're so taken out of our bubble, our little world we've created. It so completely disrupts that we have no choice but to feel and sense and see and do change. And in the midst of that, it can be extremely inspiring. Even if it inspires you to cry, even if it inspires you to feel. And the jolt of coming out of that routine and being in a position now where maybe your identity has changed. Before the trauma, now you have a new label after the trauma. Now you refer to yourself differently. But is that how you want to be seen, and is that how you want it to stay? Is that going to be part of the identity in you that is stronger? Or is that going to be part of the identity in you that feels like a victim? Like, how has it changed your identity? And your routine and your identity are actually very closely tied together. I mean, people make the decision to go to that coffee shop in the morning on the way to work because I identify as a coffee drinker versus a tea drinker or a neither. There are people that like to get up and go to the gym in the morning and do that, or do the gym after whatever time they schedule it. They're the gym person. That's what they like to do. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel fulfilled in whatever way they're wanting to feel fulfilled. Maybe you're a student and the classes you chose are exactly the classes you wanted because you identify as an artist. You identify as an accountant. You identify as a future doctor. Trauma takes that, though, and says, I identify as that, but I'm also. And then there's a new label there. And I think that you just want to be careful labeling, because who you are isn't what happens to you. Who you are is what you believe and think and do after what happens to you. So I want this to be a call to inspiration. I want this to be a call to you for passion. You've experienced a trauma. Whatever form that trauma came in, it puts you in a place where most people, the change, all the things that happen, it's a make it or break it thing. It's a make it or break it thing. Do you want to make it? Do you accept the breaking? If you can accept the breaking and the changing and the transformation, is the rest of the stuff that scary now? Is everything really that scary? Because I'm sure the trauma came with no planning, no strategy, no game plan, no premonitions necessarily. And here you are. Got through it. in whatever fashion you got through it, you got through it. You're still here. You still have inspiring work to do. Life is not happening to you. It is happening for you. And it may take years. It may take a lot of time to be able to step away, step back and see that without feeling hurt and a bit attacked by God, the universe, life, whatever you call it. I just want to express that you are not alone, and that is not all dark. It is not all bad. This is a big opportunity for change and for you to be aware of choosing your change. And I think that's part of life. It's not going to be easy, but if it was easy, you'd be bored. You would have no contrast. It takes knowing the pain to be grateful for the joy. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll be back with another video. Love you. I'll catch you on the next one.